We all know how closely connected you are to the Cowboys, Stephen A. What are your thoughts on Dak getting ready to sign that tag today?
Well, I think it's the wise thing for him to do, and I haven't been of that mindset. I've marched with Marcus Spears on this one for quite a long time. For months, I was talking about I wouldn't show up to Dallas Cowboys training camp. I wouldn't talk to Jerry Jones. I wouldn't say a word. I wouldn't even wear Dallas Cowboy paraphernalia because I've religiously felt like the Dallas Cowboys have disrespected this man. The quarterback position is the most important position in the National Football League. This dude threw for 4,902 yards and 30 touchdowns. And you're going to tell me that this two-time All-Pro who's never missed a game for you deserves to be the last in line to be paid, even though he's playing the most important position when you've taken care of Jalen Smith, Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper, and others. I just think it's egregious. But in the end, here's what it comes down to. You got a $31.4 million franchise tag. You play for it this year. We got to take into account the pandemic as we speak and what's transpiring right now. What are your options? What are your marketable options? The NFL is anticipating potentially losing some money. Certainly you're going to lose some because you're not going to have fans in attendance in all probability. It's not guaranteed, but that certainly appears to be the case. Advertisers and sponsors, because they're hemorrhaging dough because of how their businesses have been compromised due to the coronavirus pandemic, they're not going to be flooding money into your coffers either, which is part and parcel where you get some of that dough from. So if that's the reality, the bottom line is you got a $31.4 million franchise tag. As a result, if they tried to franchise tag you next year when the cap is expected to be considerably lower, it's going to be at approximately $37 million. A year after that, it's going to be at approximately $50 million. Meanwhile, the country has better footing in terms of, offsetting the catastrophic effect the pandemic COVID-19 has had on this nation and the world. And so as a result of that, that's money in the bank that is yours. We have to hope and pray that you can stay healthy and you don't get hurt, which is obviously a dicey proposition being an NFL quarterback. But Dak Prescott is a big boy, literally and figuratively. He's been an Iron Man in terms of his reliability. He's never missed a game. He made back page news when he only missed one practice. So I look at it from that standpoint and I say take the money while you can right now and understand that you have a level of leverage moving forward because of those cap implications and what the Dallas Cowboys simultaneously will be obligated to throw in your direction. I say sign a franchise tag today, do what you have to do, and I don't blame him for making that wise decision.
So for those of you who were not with us in our first hour today, Shefty was on, and he and Marcus, Shefty was basically trying to convince Marcus of all the things that Stephen A. just said, and it felt to me like Swagoo was not buying. Where do we stand now, Marcus Spears?
Because right the hell where I stood when I was talking to Shefty. Listen, I get all of that, and no, I would be an idiot for to say, Dak Prescott, if you're not going to get a long-term deal, sign the tender for $31.4 million based on what you've made previously. And maybe that pressure and maybe that leverage is what he succumbed to. I understand what Stephen A. and Shefty is saying about the cap, the ramifications of COVID and coronavirus, the unwavering times that we're in right now. I mean, the unstable times that we're in. I get that. So I get all of the motivation to sign a new deal. And sign this franchise tag. With that being said, the bottom line is this. The Dallas Cowboys were either going to be comfortable with taking Andy Dalton in to be a starter, which I think honestly where the leverage was really created, or they were going to figure out how to get a deal done with Dak. Because football doesn't end when coronavirus is over. You still got to have a quarterback. You still got to be in a great position to win the games. You still got to have a guy that's reliable and you think can carry you to a Super Bowl. Now, if you think that's Andy Dalton, Dallas Cowboys, best to you, roll, and don't worry about Dak Prescott. I still feel like Dak had all the leverage possible in order to get this going. But the lack of money that he's made, 31.4, the unstable times, I get it. I still wouldn't have signed it.
Stephen A., can I ask you quickly an unrelated... Go ahead, Steve.
Well, I was going to say, don't worry about Marcus. I mean, I've taken this young lad under my wing, Greeny. I'm the elder statesman here. He's going to be on First Take with me for 2 hours today. After I have the great Dr. Harry Edwards on with me for the first couple of blocks. We understand that Marcus gets a bit emotional and he's dogging in his position, even though he sounded a little bit like Max Kellerman there, waffling just a little bit. But I will bring him over to my fold by 12 noon today, Eastern Standard Time. Marcus Spears will see the light, and he will side with his big brother right here, Stephen A. Smith. You don't have to worry about that. He'll be all right. Give him about 3 hours.
Listen to what Stephen A. just said, right? Listen to what he just said. He has taken me under his wing. He has been a mentor to me, and he has taught me a lot about this business. That's how we know. He damn well know I'm not coming over to his spot because he taught me well.
He's coming over.
So we just gonna argue.
He's coming over.
Over to the First Take.
He's coming.
And he knows
he's coming over. And Greeny, he hasn't told you. He hasn't told you this, Greeny.
Yeah.
He sixed the wife on me. He sixed the wife on me. He plays an unfair game because whenever I got him, then the wife steps up and she raises up on me, and then I got to stand down because I know better than messing with Mrs. Swagoo.
Listen,
I can't do that.
We all use whatever leverage we have at our disposal, right? Under any circumstances that come up. Very quickly, Stephen A., while I have you, Bleacher Report put out a bunch of expectations for the season, and they basically said, if the Cowboys don't make the NFC Championship game, their season is a disappointment. Do you agree? Do they have to go that far for you to deem their season a success?
Yeah, pretty much so. I agree with that. But I just want them to be careful. Be silent. Don't say stuff too early. Wait just a little bit. You know how I am about Cowboy fans. I want them miserable, their misery to start right around Thanksgiving, and then if it really to be cemented by Christmas. Anytime the Cowboy fans' holiday season is ruined, it is pleasure for me. That's what I want to do. When we tip them off a little bit too early, then they might go on that roller coaster ride, and Dallas Cowboy fans got a reason to chirp and talk and be the disillusioned, disgusting, nauseating fan base, the worst in American history as far as I'm concerned, that they are. So what I would ask the Bleacher Report is a personal favor to moi. I would ask the Bleacher Report, just hold off on that. They're absolutely right. But we don't need to tell anybody that.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.